In 1951, a psychologist conducted a simple experiment. Participants were shown a line and asked to match it with 3 others. The answer was obvious. The lines were clearly different. Anyone could see it. But something strange happened when others in the room confidently chose the wrong answer. See, 75% of participants followed them, not because they were confused, not because they were incapable, but because confidence felt safer than truth. Today we're going to examine why your brain trusts confidence more than correctness.
Today, we're going to dig into a fundamental glitch in our mental software. It's a deep-seated bias that shapes our decisions, our leaders, and pretty much our entire social world. We're going to explore why conviction so often wins out over actual competence. Think about the last meeting you were in, or maybe even just a group chat. There's always that one person, right? They speak with absolute certainty and they just drive the whole conversation. And then there's someone else who might actually know more, but they seem hesitant, they use words like maybe or perhaps. Who does the group usually end up listening to? And here's the thing, you might be sitting there knowing for a fact that the confident speaker is missing a key piece of information or is just plain wrong. You can see the flaw in their argument clear as day. But then you watch as everyone else starts nodding along. The momentum of the conversation shifts, and suddenly that confident, incorrect idea becomes the group's final decision. It's a baffling thing to watch, and it happens all the time. So what's going on here? Why is our brain so easily fooled by the packaging of an idea instead of the idea itself? Well, the answer goes way back. It's rooted in our evolutionary past and our brain's constant need to be efficient. To really understand this, we have to rewind the clock way, way back. You see, our brains are essentially running on some very old software, and it was designed for a totally different world. A world where making quick decisions was a matter of survival. Your brain's #1 job is to keep you alive while using as little energy as possible. Thinking deeply and carefully about every single decision it's exhausting. It burns calories. So to save energy, it develops these mental shortcuts, or heuristics. And one of its favorites is the confidence heuristic. This logic is an ancient survival hack. In our ancestral environment, hesitation could be fatal. The leader who confidently pointed and said, "The hunt is this way," or the warrior who decisively yelled, "Charge," was more likely to succeed. So following confidence was just a good bet for staying alive. And that software, it's still running in our modern brains. Now, this isn't just some evolutionary guess. This bias has been proven time and time again in controlled experiments. Let's take a look at one of the most famous psychological studies that really demonstrates this powerful effect. Back in 1951, a psychologist named Solomon Asch came up with a very simple visual test. A participant would be put in a room with a group of other people and shown a card with some lines on it. The task was incredibly simple. Just say which of the 3 lines on the right is the same length as the reference line on the left. I mean, the answer is obvious, right? But here's the twist. Everyone else in that room was an actor. And on certain turns, they were all instructed to confidently and unanimously choose the wrong line. So just imagine you're sitting in that chair. You know the answer. You can see it with your own 2 eyes, but the first person says the wrong answer. Then the next person says it, and another, all with complete conviction. What do? The results were just staggering. A full 75% of participants conformed to the wrong group answer at least once during the experiment. They gave an answer they knew for a fact was wrong, just because of the pressure from the confident, unanimous opinion of the group. And the crucial point here is that this wasn't about intelligence. The participants could see the lines perfectly fine. It was about the immense psychological pressure to just conform. For our brains, standing alone against a confident crowd registers as a social threat. So agreeing, even when you know you're wrong, actually feels safer. This bias gets even more dangerous when you combine it with another psychological quirk, one that truly allows confidence to act as a mask for incompetence. This is a paradox known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. What researchers found is that people with low ability in a certain area often lack the self-awareness to even recognize their own incompetence. This leads to them having wildly inflated confidence. On the flip side, highly skilled people are often painfully aware of how much they don't know, which can lead them to doubt themselves. Let that just sink in for a moment. Because of this effect, the person with the weakest grasp on a topic is very often the one who projects the most certainty. And because our brains are already running that old confidence equals competence software, the group is now primed to listen to the least knowledgeable person in the room. So we have an ancient brain bias. It's been proven by social psychology, and it's amplified by the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now let's pour some gasoline on that fire: modern technology. Social media platforms are built for engagement. And what engages us? Strong emotions and clear, simple statements. The algorithms have learned that bold, confident opinions get more likes, shares, and comments than nuanced, thoughtful analysis. A post that says, "I'm not sure," or "it's complicated," just gets ignored. The loud influencer feels smarter than the quiet expert. So, what is actually happening inside your brain at a neurological level when you decide to go along with that confident crowd? Why does it feel so good to agree? Well, brain imaging studies show us something really remarkable. When our personal opinion lines up with the group's, our brain's reward circuitry lights up. It releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter that's tied to pleasure and reward. Your brain is literally giving you a treat for conforming. This explains the why on a deep biological level. Our brains are hardwired to seek social acceptance because for millennia, being part of the tribe meant survival. Disagreement, being ostracized, that meant risk. That dopamine hit is just your brain's way of saying, "Good job, you're safe, you're part of the group." Okay, we've seen the evolutionary reason, the scientific proof, the psychological paradox, the technological amplifier, and the neurological reward. So let's put it all together. This is the single most important takeaway. We have to consciously unlink these two concepts in our own minds. Confidence is a feeling. Truth is a fact. They are not the same thing. Confidence is about the packaging. Truth is about the contents. And this is the real danger. When we stop doing the hard work of thinking for ourselves, we outsource it. We start renting the certainty of others because it feels easy and it feels safe. But when you start renting confidence, you stop auditing reality. So this is the final challenge. The next time you're in a room and someone is speaking with that unshakable conviction, just pause. Interrupt your brain's ancient shortcut. And instead of asking if they're confident, ask yourself one simple, powerful question. Are they correct? Because one builds followers, but the other builds progress.